Hi, I'm Giselle.
And I'm Xana.
And together we are
The Strong Sunflowers.
Hello, Strong Sunflowers. Welcome back to another episode here at the pod. Thank you for being in our field. We're so grateful for you. But this week is all about Martin Luther King service, all that good stuff. And Santa and I were talking before starting recording about how we really need to incorporate harvest more in our field. So if you're listening to this episode and you volunteer at any place, whether it's online or in person, let us know about it, because we would love to go support and volunteer, because we're really trying to add more harvest into our field, because I've been slacking. I haven't been harvesting as much as I should. So put me out there, let me know, and I'll be there. But before we start this podcast episode, you already know, like, share, subscribe to your mom, to your friend, to your cat, to your grandma. We want them all to be strong ass sunflowers and come to the pod. So Xana, who do we have in the field today?
Queen, we have somebody so special. I'm so excited to get into the details of Miss Patsy Harris. But before we have her introduce herself, I also want to echo the sentiments about MLK Day. Oh my gosh, I love Martin Luther King. And, volunteerism is something that's really near and dear to my heart. And I'm going to be honest, during the pandemic, a lot of opportunities were taken away from us to be able to kind of volunteer in person. And so I got out of the habit of doing it. I also kind of went through a faith crisis where my church organized everything, right? Or even if I was involved in organizing volunteer events, it was easy to just kind of know where to go. And so post-pandemic, I had to kind of get back in the rhythm of volunteering. And it's something that I think all of us need to make more time for, to spend time in that harvest, to help others to get out of our comfort zones. And, something that really spoke to me, I'm of course going to give you that quote from MLK. He said, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." So this is something each and every one of us can do. And I'm thrilled to bring an organization that I actually got exposure to by volunteering in Austin, Texas, called Casa de Miel. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to Patsy to have her introduce herself.
Hello. I'm Patsy Harris. And first of all, I just have to say that I am deeply grateful for this opportunity to be a part of something that I value all year long, and that is connecting through volunteering. That is how we all got started in this conversation. Is like that harvesting is building connections and supporting one another, feeding one another, just where we are and based on what we need, and not where we come from and not what degree we have, as you just nicely stated from Martin Luther King's quote. But I am Patsy Harris, and I'm the executive director of Casa de Miel, and we live in Elgin and Manor. We're situated on a 100-acre ranch where we are so passionate about our connections with the community, and introducing them and facilitating their connections with nature, animals, our horses, pigs, ducks, chickens, the land. I'm so excited to just share with you what that means to us and why that's so important, and why coming out here and connecting with one another and building community with one another is so important to us out here at Casa de Miel.
And I know from experience, I recently got to volunteer at your farm, and I love the focus on human connection. I had heard from the person that organized the event from my organization stated, hey, last time they said that we work too hard in regards to like, cleaning up the stalls and feeding the animals and doing kind of that volunteer work that you think of. And they said this time they want us to just really think about how we're connecting with one another. And so I got to spend time in the cabin making pasta and homemade fresh tomato sauce that we harvested from your garden. And then we made meals for some homeless in our community, which I just thought, like, it makes me almost cry thinking about it. It was such a special moment. I got to bring all my kids with me. I have 4, and they loved your space and your farm. And then it was like, hey, we're done in the kitchen, so just go explore. Go see the animals. And so we got to go in the pens with the pigs and go hang out with oh my gosh, I think there was a dog that we met ducks, and then there was like this special space where you had a bunch of hammocks, and so the kids got to go down there and swing, and it was just such a special moment. So I again, I just want to echo that you wanted to focus on human connection while I experienced that, and it was magic. It was magic. I would love to get into kind of your origin story. So how did Casa de Miel start? Why and how? I'd love to hear kind of how you got started.
So one of our founders, who continues this day to be a supporter, my advisor in every way, she was very determined to create a space, provide a space that was accessible without, without regard to where you come from, what your ability is, what your beliefs are. I mean, she feels so passionate about our human connection to the land, and what the restorative experiences are that results from connecting with the land, connecting with our horses, connecting with, you mentioned, all of the different farm animals out here, just the opportunities that naturally present in terms of pause, presence, peace, and acceptance is just, it's almost hard to put into words. So Kim and Tamia, and there were others who came together and wanted to create very specifically programs that were focused on horse facilitated connections, connections with what do you call it, regenerative garden experiences, and how we were able to be in a space and leave this space better than when we found it, leave those part in relationships better than when we first approached or engaged in those relationships. So that all started in 2017, kind of fast forwarding to 2020. We got a little bit more intentional about our outreach. Like, we sit in this community, and we were welcoming people to this space, but we really needed to figure out who and how to get people to this space, because while we want to make sure the space is accessible to everyone, it's particularly important to me that communities that look like me, Black and Brown communities, have access to this space early in their lives and understand from mental and emotional wellness, from a physical resilience space, how important it is to connect with nature for themselves, for others in their families and people in their communities. And then what does that look like? That looks like the educational and experiential experiences, some of which you mentioned earlier in terms of harvesting and working with the horses. But then some of that also means taking time while you're out here in this space and having a deep appreciation or learning to have this deep appreciation for you, prioritizing self-care. And that's not something that I grew up with. That's not something that I was told was a very healthy and necessary part of being a whole healthy person, a whole healthy African American woman. This is necessary for me to be a full contributor to my family, as a mother, as a friend, as an employer, as all the different hats that we wear. If I'm not taking care of me, I can't take care of anyone else. And so I think out here at Casa de Miel, we provide an additional way for people to learn how to prioritize themselves and their well-being.
I love that, because everything that you're saying right now, of course, tip number one to becoming a strong as sunflower: self-love and self-care, learning the difference and putting that, because that's truly like what starts everything else. But now that you're talking about your mission and the reason behind Casa de Miel, I'm originally from Cuba. So I have my African roots and I also have my Latin roots, and bringing them together. Casa de Miel, now that I think about it in Spanish, miel is honey, is sweetness, that sweetness that we have within us. And casa, our home. We are our home. And we are sweet, we are soft, and we can bring that love not only to ourselves, but to others, to the animals, to the earth. And that is amazing. I love it. And I'm going to Texas in March. So we're definitely going to go do some harvest at Casa de Miel. So we shall meet each other.
I love that. I love that. And that's the thing that I also want to express. Let me go back on something that you said about self-love. I honestly did not prioritize self-love. I will even go back further, did not know that self-love was a thing until I started working out here. And I'm a seasoned person and I know a lot about a lot of stuff. And yet I didn't know how essential that was for me to be the mother that I am to a young adult woman. She just graduated from college and she is finding her way. She's running into some landmines because she's finding out some things about who she is and who she represents that didn't quite come up for her in that bubble, in that college world. And now she's kind of being confronted with some not so welcoming experiences. And we talk about these things openly and welcome these hard conversations at CASA. When folks come out here, whether they're in groups, whether you are coming in with your family, whether you're coming in with your friends, it is a space to be real and to be vulnerable and have honest conversations about what are some barriers and how to navigate some of these landmines that some of us are confronted with, many of us are confronted with, whether it's gender, socioeconomic, whether it's race. I mean, we've all got something that we're confronted with. And so this thing called self-love, I mean, gosh, if you don't have a deep connection with what that means and the role that it plays in how you think of yourselves, it definitely translates in how you engage others and what you expect from others. And so I just wanted to just kind of go back to that and how important that is out here and how important that is to me. So
self-love is where it's at, y'all. And I can't tell you, it's something, again, I can echo what you're stating too. As a woman in America, G and I have started this conversation about like body image and body dysmorphia and loving our bodies. And, oh my gosh, I think even as a 4-year-old, I was told that I was fat. And I'm like 5 foot, always had an athletic build. I've been a gymnast and cheerleader my entire life. And here I am at 4 years old thinking, I'm fat, I'm overweight. No, no, I have a body and it's enabling me to do amazing things, right? More women, more little kids. My son, who's 11 years old, just came to me and said, Mom, I'm fat. And I'm like, where are you getting that from? Did he inherit it from me? And he's athletic too. He's a soccer player. He's beautiful. He's beautiful, but there's something, and I don't know if it's the media or, kids nowadays just watch YouTube and consume YouTube. And, me as a kid, it was TV. And so my immediate mind thinks like, there's something in the media that's teaching us that we don't look a certain way, or we're not good enough, or we're not Black enough, or we're not white enough, or we're not smart enough. And we're us, right? And when we can get to the root of us and who we are at our, just the essence of us, we can be our true selves and show up in the world how we see fit. And it doesn't matter what other people's opinions are. And I can tell you that in the volunteering world, you take anybody as they are. You're not going to look at them and say, oh, Casa de Miel, you can't volunteer here. You're not Hispanic enough. I'm sorry, you got to go. Like that's everyone is welcome, right? And so I'd love to hear why you think volunteerism can help people reach that self-love, self-care, that wholehearted person that they can be, that a lot of us aren't because of the media or because of the environment that we're in.
I believe that volunteering offers an opportunity for everyone to belong, everyone to contribute. It offers an opportunity for every individual to showcase their talent, their skill, their uniqueness, to offer that as a part of a whole, something, it sounds cliche, but literally bigger than themselves. Part of what we do out here is we have a food sharing program where in 2022, we donated approximately 5,000 pounds of food to community partners throughout Austin, Bastrop, and Hayes County. And the volunteers that came out here in 2022 were a significant, a necessary, you name every synonym with those words. They made that happen. We didn't do that by ourselves, but for them, that literally would not happen. And we partnered with organizations that know how to get this food directly to people. So it offers people a real opportunity to give what they know how to give, and give with it allows you to, like you just said, you don't have to, there are no pretenses, just show up as you are. We welcome everyone. And from that, it's an opportunity for you to connect with other people who you might not otherwise have met. We have witnessed, and we have embraced, and we have loved on and admired relationships that have resulted as a result of people volunteering out here. People have met from East Austin with those who live in Hayes County, and they've coordinated to meet up on a certain day of the week out here. And we facilitate that to make that happen, because those connections are really important. While yes, they're out here to help harvest or plant or seed or help with the horses and the other animals, the real connection comes from what they get for themselves, that self-love, those connections with others, and connections with people they might not ever know, who have nutritious food, who have access to seeds and educational experiences about how to grow their own food. So they're kind of planting seeds. They're a part of doing work that might not otherwise happen. Volunteering is necessary. It's a part of who we are out here, but it's also a part of our community at large throughout Austin, throughout Elgin, throughout Manor, and our greater Austin area. We need people. I'm especially passionate about this. We need people to be introduced to the importance of volunteering when they are preschool. Service that's a part of who we are. I don't know, in my community, I hear about it takes a village, it takes a tribe, it takes a community. We're not an island unto ourselves. It takes all of us. So volunteering is important, and you're not required to show up for 4 hours or 2 hours. Show up when you can, how you can, the best way you know how. I promise you come out here, we got you.
I love that. Who is in your field? It is so important.
Yeah.
Who is in your field? Because everybody can be everybody is pollinating, because I wouldn't know about Casa de Miel if Sana wouldn't have gone to volunteer there. And whoever's listening to this podcast wouldn't have known if you wouldn't have come on the pod. And just like you said, you need all types of people. You need your butterflies, you need your hummingbirds, you need your bees. Everybody can take up space and do that 1%. I'm reading Atomic Habits right now. And my therapist has already told me this, but I'm a 0 to 100 person. So if I'm not 100% committed, I'm 0% because I can't do things halfway.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, you have to find that balance. It's okay. If you can't volunteer for those 4 hours that you want to, 1 hour is okay. 30 minutes is okay. Sharing that post is okay. Letting other people know and like pollinating and letting other people know about the volunteering opportunity is okay too. Just do what you can when you can. And speaking of who's in your field, we would love to bring more people to your field. So how can we support you? How can we let people know about you? Where can we find you? How can we join this volunteer efforts?
Oh my gosh, say less. We would love to have anyone, as you just described so eloquently, to come out and be a part of this experience. And this conversation is quite timely in that this year we are dedicating resources to a volunteer coordinator. So we have someone in place who will be coordinating outreach so that people can come in every third Saturday from 9 to 12 for service projects. They can go to connections at casademiel.org to complete a form to express their interest in volunteering. So that's every third Saturday starting February 18th. That's our kickoff Saturday. This, by the way, does not mean that we're not available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 for volunteering experiences. Our goal is to try to meet to the best of our ability folks where they are. So we are also available between 8 and 5 for people to sign up and come in and volunteer. That third Saturday is that community building experience where we encourage a community of volunteers to come in from wherever they're coming, meet, eat, serve, and have some fun. So we are excited about that. They can find us at connections@casademiel.org. Follow us on Instagram at Casa de Miel, Texas, and follow us on Facebook. So yeah.
What is something that you would want someone to take away from this episode? If this is the only part of the episode that they listen to, what's something that you would want them to take away from it?
I've had the real honor and privilege of leading nonprofits at a national level, statewide, and it has been a real honor. The missions have been incredibly purposeful, purpose-driven, meaningful. And with all that I am, I don't know if the stars aligned, divine intervention, but Casa de Miel is a space, is an experience, is an opportunity that has been meaningful personally. My kids, and I have 3 young adult kids, 2 boys and a girl, and they know what my journey has been in leadership and who I am and what I look like and what the struggles have been. And it's been a tough road, y'all. And my son, who 24 years old, who is self-absorbed, came out here one day. I had him run an errand for me, and he said, "I love how this job looks on you, Mom." And that meant something to me. My kids are everything to me, and how I've been able to show up for them is by and large part what this space has allowed me to do, what the people who represent Casa de Miel, the volunteers who represent Casa de Miel, because make no mistake, the volunteers that come out here are an extension of the Casa de Miel family. They show up in hot temperatures, extremely hot temperatures. And as recent as a few weeks ago when we had the freezing temps, they were out here and I was not. This space is meaningful. This place is life-giving. This place genuinely meets you where you are. Everyone is welcome out here, whether you are here to serve or to be served.